So there's this sci-fi movie called All You Need Is Kill. It's based off of this Japanese novel written in the early 2000s by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. And basically it's about this teenager named Keiji and how during an alien invasion he gains this power to travel 2 days backwards in time every time he dies. He's essentially stuck in a time loop. And basically over the course of the movie, he gains the ability to essentially evolve and change over time to better himself as he constantly fights this battle over and over again. And essentially, it's based off of like the idea of dying in a video game and respawning, essentially, and how you continue to play a video game over time and you get better at it. Now, the thing with this movie is that it's not actually called All You Need Is Kill. It's called Edge of Tomorrow, and it stars Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. I think that's her name, Emily Blunt. Yeah, it's something like that. Anyways, so this movie, it goes in radically different directions from where the book goes. And even though I prefer the book, I would still say that Edge of Tomorrow stands on its own 2 feet. I mean, the character that Tom Cruise plays is essentially the character of Keiji from the novel. But Keiji is this typical Japanese anime protagonist teenager, whereas Tom Cruise is this, like, I guess, cowardly American kind of general who learns to, I guess, face his fears, more or less. Anyways, Tom Cruise's character evolves and changes in the movie in a similar way to Keiji in the novel, which is one of the core themes of All You Need Is Kill, just this constant learning through death and bettering yourself through dying and that kind of stuff. Anyways, I briefly wanted to talk about the manga adaptation of All You Need Is Kill, which is done by Takeshi Obata. Now, if you don't know who Takeshi Obata is, he's best known as the artist of Death Note, which also recently had an American adaptation. Death Note the adaptation is okay. It's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's not the best thing in the world, but it does what it does, almost. It does some interesting things with L and Misa, kind of. And they nailed the core themes of Death Note pretty well, with the idea of justice and, I guess, stepping outside the law to obtain justice, which is what I would think one of the core themes of Death Note is. But the problem with this American adaptation of Death Note is that it doesn't feel like Death Note. Like, it has the same characters and it has the same, I guess, basic outline, but it doesn't feel like Death Note. Like, when I was watching Edge of Tomorrow, you still had this kind of feeling that it was still All You Need Is Kill. Like, it still felt the same almost, with this constant evolution through dying. The thing is that Death Note, even though the American adaptation nails the themes of the manga and the anime, that's not what people watch Death Note for. They don't watch it for the themes and the deeper meaning. What they watch Death Note for is the constant back and forth between L and Light, and how they're constantly trying to get each other to slip up. Additionally, people weren't exactly receptive to this adaptation. Like, when this adaptation was announced with its Americanized setting and stuff, people weren't exactly feeling it. And I think that's where part of the negative criticism for this movie comes from, because I've been seeing people talking trash about this movie all over the place. And I think one of the issues is that they almost had their own, I guess, interpretation of how Death Note should be adapted. Which I don't really know, of course, how all these people felt and how they thought it should be adapted. I only know what I know, obviously. But I would say it's good for what it is, and people weren't really receptive to that because they didn't want change. Which kind of brings me to the main point of this video, which is that if they'd called it something else, if they called it Edge of Tomorrow, then I don't think this Death Note movie would have as much flack. If they just took the ideas of Death Note and went their completely own direction and had some slight homages and not necessarily name all the characters after the characters in the manga, like how we have this version of Light that isn't exactly Light and this version of L that isn't exactly L, then I think people would be more open to it. And if you just wrote at the end in the credits, like, inspired by Death Note by Takeshi Obata and Tsugumi Oba, then you wouldn't have this entire, I guess, collective of anime fans screeching about how this isn't true to what their vision of this material is. The problem with this Death Note movie is that it's called Death Note. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video and whatnot. I just wanted to put this thing together really quickly and throw my own 2 cents in the pile. It wasn't meant to be like a long thing. I hope I got my point across, though. I don't think you can really adapt Death Note in the same way. Or you can't adapt really manga, I guess, in the same way as you can adapt other mediums because of how rabid the fan base almost is. And how they have their own interpretation of what Death Note should be. That being said, I'm going to be having some other videos coming out that are edited. I'm working on a video regarding a video game franchise that I really like. And I plan to be doing some more stuff in the future when I get back to places that I need to go. Because the school year is coming up, and once I'm all set up there, then maybe more content can start coming out. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, the usual deal. Anyways, take care.